That shaking and brain fog you feel when you skip lunch? It's not starvation. It's actually a 300,000-year-old superpower trying to wake up. Look at your watch right now. Maybe it's 8 a.m. and you're holding a sugary latte in one hand and a pastry in the other. Or it's already noon and you're rushing to force down a quick desk lunch before your next Zoom meeting begins. If you miss even one meal, what happens? Your hands start shaking. Your mind gets foggy. You become short-tempered with your coworkers. Your stomach growls so loudly, it feels like you're on the verge of starving to death. We've been conditioned our entire lives to believe that the human body is like a car engine. You have to keep topping it off with fuel every 3 hours, or it will break down. Pause 3 seconds. Modern city sounds slowly fade out. Only the sound of strong wind howling across a vast empty desert remains. But what if I told you that this constant "I'm starving" sensation is actually a modern industrial scam? That this weakness you feel isn't your fault, but the result of an environment that has completely betrayed our DNA? To understand the truth, we have to go much further back than yesterday or even the last century. We need to strip away the glowing refrigerators and 24/7 drive-thrus completely. Rewind the clock. Not 1,000 years, not 10,000 years, but 300,000 years ago. Back to the cradle of humanity, the African savanna, where hunger wasn't a disease. It was a superpower. Imagine dusk falling across the savanna. It has been 2 full days since this tribe of Homo sapiens has had even a single bite of meat. In today's world, fasting for 48 hours would send most people straight to the emergency room. But look closely at the hunter sitting by the dying fire. There is no brain fog in his eyes. Those eyes are razor sharp, able to detect the slightest movement in the grass hundreds of yards away. His hearing is heightened, filtering every whisper of the wind. What's happening inside his body? As blood sugar levels drop, the adrenal glands release a massive surge of adrenaline. The pituitary gland floods the system with human growth hormone at its absolute peak. And in the liver, something remarkable begins. Stored body fat from the belly and thighs is broken down and converted into a high-octane fuel called ketones. These ketones cross the blood-brain barrier, supercharging the neurons. At the same time, BDNF, a powerful neuroprotein, skyrockets. The hunter's brain is now operating at a completely different level. Why did evolution design us this way? It's brilliantly simple. If hunger made the body weak, we would have died out long ago. Instead, the body hits an override switch. The hungrier you are, the sharper, faster, and more focused you become, exactly when you need it most to find food. The survival of the entire human race was literally built on the foundation of an empty stomach. The sun is directly overhead. The temperature is pushing 105 degrees Fahrenheit. This is when the real test begins. An antelope appears on the horizon. On paper, humans are poorly equipped for the hunt. We have no claws, no venom, and our top sprint speed is 3 times slower than an antelope's. So how did our ancestors take down much faster prey, armed only with sharpened sticks and stones, while running on 0 calories for days? They didn't try to outsprint it. They used the most ruthless strategy in nature, persistence hunting. The antelope takes off like a rocket. The hunter begins to run, not fast, but at a steady, rhythmic, energy-efficient pace. When the antelope eventually tires and stops in the shade to cool down, its thick fur traps the heat, forcing it to pant desperately. Then, from far in the distance, the tiny silhouette of the hunter appears again. Steady, relentless, completely inescapable. The antelope panics and runs again. The hunter keeps coming. Under the blazing African sun, while most predators are forced to hide, the human body reveals its evolutionary masterpiece. Millions of sweat glands that allow us to keep cool while running for hours. The hunter is deep in ketosis, his body efficiently burning its own fat stores to generate thousands of kilocalories of clean energy. The chase goes on for 3 hours, then 5, then 8 hours. Finally, at mile 20, the antelope collapses from heat stroke and total exhaustion. It doesn't die from a spear. It dies from the hunter's sheer, unstoppable persistence. And the hunter? He walks up, chest heaving but still strong, and delivers the final blow. This is how humans became the ultimate apex predator, through the power of hunger-fueled endurance. But the power of hunger shaped more than just physical hunting. While the men tracked prey across the savannah, the women ventured dozens of miles into the primeval forests as gatherers. They had no maps, no writing, no modern tools. Yet running on empty stomachs, their brains entered a state of heightened alpha waves that gave them superhuman memory. They carried incredibly detailed 3D mental maps. Exactly which baobab tree held a rich honey hive, which hillside had the best edible roots, and which berries were safe to eat at what time of year. They could distinguish thousands of different leaf patterns and plant species with the naked eye. Back at the cave, the toolmakers worked with extreme precision. Imagine sitting perfectly still for 6 hours straight, no food, carefully striking a piece of flint with a river cobble. Every single strike had to be millimeter perfect. One small mistake and the entire day's work would shatter into useless fragments. They didn't complain about low blood sugar or lack of energy. The empty stomach gave them the laser-like mental clarity and focus needed to survive the Ice Age, migrate out of Africa, and eventually conquer the entire planet. And then, the long-awaited moment finally arrives. Night falls. Darkness covers the savannah. But in the center of the tribe, a massive fire blazes brightly. The successful hunters carry the large antelope back into camp. The days of tension and hunger suddenly explode into pure, unfiltered joy. This was the era of the Great Feast. Our ancestors didn't eat 5 small meals a day. When food finally came, they ate with intense, primal energy. Bone marrow was cracked open and sucked clean. Fatty cuts of meat sizzled over glowing coals. Sweet, wild tubers were shared equally among everyone, from the oldest elders to the youngest children. The heavy influx of protein and fat triggered a powerful release of serotonin and oxytocin. Stress melted away. They sang, they danced wildly around the fire. They told stories of the long chase and narrow escapes. The social bonds of humanity were forged in these moments of extreme contrast. Brutal hunger, followed by glorious abundance. With stomachs full, the body shifted from survival mode into deep repair and recovery mode. They fell into a profound, restful sleep while their bodies rebuilt muscle, repaired cells, and stored energy for the next cycle of scarcity. It was nature's perfect rhythm: starve to become sharp, feast to be reborn. For 99.9% of our entire history as a species, this was how humans lived. But in the tiny slice of time that makes up the remaining 0.1%, we have done something completely unnatural. We have taken these perfectly designed apex predators and locked them inside cramped concrete cubicles. We have surrounded ourselves with refrigerators that are never empty and ultra-processed food available 24/7. We eat the moment we wake up. We eat while working. We eat while watching Netflix. We even snack right before bed. Our stomachs almost never experience true emptiness. The result is devastating. The pancreas is constantly overworked pumping out insulin. The liver becomes overloaded with fat it cannot process. And the brain, the same incredible organ that once mapped the stars and remembered vast territories, now feels sluggish, foggy, and dependent on caffeine just to function. Next time you feel that familiar stomach rumble at 10 a.m., don't panic and immediately reach for snacks. Take a deep breath, close your eyes for a moment, and really feel it. That sensation is not a sign of weakness. It is 300,000 years of human evolution quietly tapping you on the shoulder. It is your ancestors from the African savannah whispering to you, the perfect machine inside you is still working perfectly. It's just waiting for you to give it a chance to wake up.